Hi, Luis. Hi, Erica. Hi, XA, Janai, Janae. Good morning, Erica. So right now, 8 a.m. So could you type your name? So today lecture is kind of like a special lecture. It's especially focused like a sports drink, right? So, but it's related to our content, but it's kind of a special lecture. So we have only 5 students. Okay. But anyway, this is a recording, so it'll be okay. So I would like to share my slide. And another one is a quiz question. Uh, Before exam two, right? I just put the quiz itself, but right now I put the just quiz mark. So it means that slide has a quiz, right? That kind of approach. How about I show you? Share screen. So how about any student? Could you see my PowerPoint? Could you respond to me? Could you see? I can show my thumb up. Oh, thank you, Sky. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sky. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Janae. Right. See, Luis, Janae, Sky, could you see there are quiz mark, is right? Did you see quiz mark? Oh, yes. So this is slide for quiz. Okay, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah. So sometimes I have like 80 or 100 slide, right? So yeah, you should study, but you do not have that much time. And another one, I want to give impression which kind of question slide is important. So actually, I already talked about this slide last class, but just I let you know. So pre-competition nutrient, so hydration is important, but one of the macronutrient, like protein, fat, and carbohydrate, which is really important for pre-competition meal, especially our textbook. Our textbook is carbohydrate. Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense. So when you take CSCS exam, you should say carbohydrate because our textbook is focused carbohydrate. Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense. But in real world, it can be questionable. So class doesn't make sense. Yeah. So you should know. You should have higher view than our textbook. But anyway, it's a pre-competition meal. Is our teaching is really focused carbohydrate. This doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Motoki Tazi. So today slide. If there are quiz mark is like this. This slide. So this is quiz. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And another one is Motoki Taj. Is today is kind of like how can I say? It's a special lecture. It's a special. Yeah, it's still it's cover is our lecture, but kind of a special lecture. Special lecture. So we already talk about this slide and carbohydrate loading. We already talk about this slide also, right? Because carbohydrate is important pre-competition meal. So why not we need adaptation? So how about like 6 days and competition? So 3 days, eat less carbohydrate, exercise a lot. And last 3 days, do not exercise and eat a lot, lots of carbohydrate. So scientists believe there is carbohydrate loading. So before the competition, doesn't make sense. There is carbo loading. So when I was a college student, we learned a lot like this kind of concept. This kind of concept. But however, so his name is Professor Timothy Knox. I think I already show his face because he said 50% our teaching is incorrect. This person. And another one, carbohydrate loading is 1980, early 1990. get concept from him. He's the person. He's the person to teach and research carbohydrate loading because at that time we believe carbohydrate is important. So Harvard class, does it make sense? Does it make sense? Oh, just before the just going to the slide, how about Taj? Could you type your name too? Right. So our attendants, could you type your name in the chat box? Yeah, thank you. So, oh, Taj, thank you. See, you know, Taj is cyclist. I think he's very interested in, right? He's the person. He's Carlos here too, right? So, oh, Mago here too, right? He is the person. Is like to teach, to thought, right? So, carb loading is important. As a premium, carbohydrate is important. He's the person. He's the person. So I want to show you. Carlos, today is kind of a special lecture. It's important for our. This is we cover. I cover our part, chapter 10, but kind of like a special lecture style today.
So anyway, because I expressed my genetics, I also ran and did lots of running. This is a picture 30 odd years ago, 32 years ago. And I ran a particular ultra marathon in Cape Town called the Two Oceans Ultra Marathon. It's a 35-mile race. I was the 15th guy to run it 10 times, so I got that number. During that time, I was writing books and educating people and telling them this is the food you must eat. You must eat lots of these carbohydrates because they are very, very healthy. And I wrote this book, and there it says, in 2002, all athletes must be advised to eat high carbohydrate diets, as high carbohydrate diets are now considered ideal for both health and sport. So I apologize, I was absolutely, completely, utterly wrong. And I continued to run. This was running with a marathon with my daughter some years ago. And all this time, I thought I was incredibly healthy and going to live forever. And guess what happened? I developed type 2 diabetes. So I don't look like this guy, but I have these abnormalities. And the reason I got type 2 diabetes, very strong family history. My father died of the disease, and I'd eaten this high carbohydrate diet. There is no other explanation. Anyone that tells you that it was a high-fat diet that caused my diabetes, nonsense, because I didn't eat fat. And if I could get through a day without eating fat, I would say, gee, that was a fabulous day. And all the time I was getting fatter, lazier, and more unhealthy. So 9 months ago, we put together this book, and it took us 6 weeks to write the book. Now, all the other books I've written have.
So could you hear? Could you hear? Right? See, he's the person. He was the person. He was the person, like to spread is a carbohydrate loading. He's the person. Right now he apologized. Right? So does it make sense? It's not doesn't make sense. But at least he apologized. But you know, many scientists they didn't apologize, like our politician. So Harvard class doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So at least we can curious. Okay, oh, okay. So I think we are good student, right? Good citizen, right? So to learn from the textbook, to learn from government guideline. But this is the main person. Who was the main person for who apologized? So Harvard class doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. This is kind of our situation. So we should be careful. So, but you know, I post this video as well as another video about like carbohydrate is kind of like a problem, or another two video about carbohydrate are important. So I posted two different type of video to and post our campus website. So whenever you have time, please watch both of them. That doesn't make sense. I do not advocate one of the opinion, right? But I want open discussion to our students. So it's kind of a time. It's kind of time. You should learn more than the textbook, especially nutrition part. So and actually training part also do that. So class, does it make sense? Could you respond to me? Is it okay? Is it okay? Yeah, I'm not like I said, covers not no, not like that. I just want open. It's open. Thank you. I think Tazi is so. And another one. So how about did you remember pre-competition meal, carbohydrate, and hydration? Is right. But if you take NSCA CS6 exam, pre-competition meal, it should be carbohydrate. That is your answer, right? But in real world, you should study more. Doesn't make sense. But however, carbohydrate and hydration. So hydration part, I do not have any question. Yes, it's important. We should be hydrated because our energy from ATP, but to break down ATP, we need water, is right. And how about class? Did you remember Volkswagen system? Volkswagen system, ATP, hydrolysis, creatine kinase reaction, adenylase kinase reaction, AMP deaminase reaction. So we need water during ATP hydrolysis. We need another water during AMP deaminase reaction. Did you remember? The Volkswagen need a lot of water. Is right? Is right? So without water, we cannot break down ATP, or we cannot get rid of AMP. Did you remember AMP? AMP activate glycolytic energy system, and it should be get rid of, is right. To do this one, we need water too. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So hydration is no question. It should be we need hydration. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So even during event, right? So still we need the water too, right? Hydration. So proper hydration during competition, right? So during exercise, we do not really need other macronutrients, right? Usually water, right? Hydration. But water is not really easy. Water is easily absorbed, but the problem is we can release water easily, like the pee or sweat. So how about sports drink can retain water? Doesn't make sense, like this kind of approach. And to retain water, which kind of secret we need, right? Doesn't make sense. This is kind of sports drink. Yeah, so water is important. So how about during essential for performance? Athletes should hydrate themselves several hours before exercise to allow for fluid absorption and urine output before competition. The optimal sports drink, this is important. Optimal sports drink, this is kind of, how can I say, is a know-how. How about, I think know-how, right? Know-how, right? Know-how. Oh, I think it's not know-how. How about class? Why I said this is not know-how? Not know-how. Can you guess? It looks like a know-how, is right? But this is not know-how because know-how means you don't know the number. Only company know. That is know-how. Doesn't make sense. How about we have Motoki is here. Motoki has some secret. But if Motoki talk about this secret to our student, it's not anymore know-how. Is right? Doesn't make sense. So this case, this ratio is patent. It doesn't make sense. Or copyright as your article, right? So because it's not anymore know-how, it's already revealed. It's revealed, right? Doesn't make not know-how, but this is kind of like a secret. But not anymore secret, is right? We already know, right? This is number. So sports drink contain 20 to 30 milli equivalent of sodium. So how about milli-equilibrium? Milli-equilibrium, it means is 1 milli is 1,000, is right. And how about class? Please watch here because this is not anymore know-how, right? So just in case, how about just in case? How about Taz is like a cyclist? I think I should develop my own sports drink. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So to approach like this, he should know how to calculate. So this is why our textbook doesn't have, but I include how to calculate this like amount of the sodium and potassium. And another one, I was in University of New Mexico. I complete my PhD programs there, but the professor is there. He's the person to develop sports drink. So this is why I have a lot of like know-how, like know how to do. So 20 to 30 milli equivalent sodium, how to calculate real number is like this. Sodium is iron, the tonic weight is 23 grams. So calculate like this. Milli equivalent is should be divided by 1,000. And here, so 20 milli equivalent is right. So 20 should be here. And again, to get a milligram, we multiply 1000. So 23 is sodium ion what is it? Atomic weight divided by 1000 because of milliequilibrium. And multiply 20, this one, 20, right? And multiply 1000 to get a milligram. To get a milligram, is right. So how about if we have a calculator? Yeah. So you can calculate 23 divided by 1000, multiply 20, multiply 1000, it should be 460. 460. How about class? How about this is kind of special lecture? Could you calculate? Yeah. Is it really 460? 460 milligram is a sodium. So this case, you can purchase at the supplementation company or using Amazon, you can purchase sodium. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You can use 460 milligram sodium. This makes sense. Makes sense. And you still got a number 460, 460. Or 225 milli equivalent of potassium. So how to calculate? How to calculate? So potassium is iron, atomic weight is 39, 39 gram per mole. So 39 divided by 1000 because milli equivalent. And together milligram, and another one right here, 225. So using 2 put here and multiply 1000. That is milligram is potassium. So could you see it here? Could you get 78 too? Any student, could you respond to me? Did you calculate? You got a number 460 and 78. Any student? None yet. None yet. You are kinesiology major, right? After graduation, you have a chance to work as sports drink, or you can make your own sports drink. Oh, Taji, thank you. Thank you. So Taji using 78 460, but using 30 milli equivalent or 5 milli equivalent potassium, you can calculate 690, 195 to right? Doesn't make sense. So now you know how to calculate as well as that kind of milligram is right. So how about class? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? And next one, and 5 to 10% carbohydrate. So our class, see, this is during competition, right? Still we need the carbohydrate. So uh, I'm not really, yes, but how about anyway, this is why we made sports drink, right? So how to put 5 to 10% of carbohydrate, like this kind of approach. Doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. To make sports drink, you need, for example, 460 milligram chloride, I'm sorry, milligram where is the sodium, and you need 78 milligram potassium, and that sports drink should contain 5 to 10% carbohydrate. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. To put the 5 to 10% carbohydrate, which one you need to put? This case, is simply just sugar. Oh, thank you, Margaret. Sugar is right. That doesn't make sense. Oh, I think it's time to develop our own sports drink. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because even this sports drink, the what is this? Range is 460 to 690 milligram, 78 to 195 milligram. Its range is kind of is large enough. Is large is right. It's big. So you can choose 460 or 690 is right. But I think sports drink is a commercial one is already some number is right. Already some number. You cannot change. Oh, thank you, Margot. We'll talk about it. Thank you. So how about class? Thank you. Margot, that kind of approaching is important. See, if you do not need to develop, you do not worry about it, right? But you are kinesiology major, and you should develop on your sports drink for your client, patient, athlete, and yourself, right? Or even how about our older people, right? Our parents, right? And grandfather and grandmother, they usually dehydrate. Why? Because older people do not really want to drink. So usually they are dehydrated. Could you see their like a skin is look like wood skin, is right? Dehydrated. So hydration is important. Usually they are dehydrated. So this is kind of like a good idea to hydrate them too, right? But if you know how to do, you can develop your own sports drink. Or like for me, I can take out carbohydrate. I just put the iron. How about does it make it? Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So this is why I said it still cover our content. It's kind of a special lecture today. So see, how about see, Margot has a question, is right? Like that kind of approach, you should study, right? You should spend your own time. You spend your own time. So this case, what is this? To get how about like a Gatorade, right? How about Gatorade, right? And there are nutrition fact, right? So using nutrition fact, you can really study. You can really study sports drink. Like how about benchmark? Benchmark is already commercial knowledge, right? It's benchmark. So if you see nutrition fact, right? So it's like this, is right. So I think you can see my uh, uh, cursor, right? Cursor of my uh, mouse. Right? I'm sorry. Right? See, sodium, potassium, right? I think they have a carbohydrate, right? See, how about class? Margot question is 5 to 10% of what is right? See, this is Margot's question. Right? If you see the 10 box. So how about class? Could you calculate? I think Gatorade has 36 gram, is right? Have carbohydrate. Most of them is sugar. You can use 36 or 34, but I think it's a carbohydrate 5 to 10% is right. Please use 36 gram. And can you guess 36 gram divided by which number? This is we can figure out how much percent of carbohydrate Gatorade has. How how can you calculate how much percent of carbohydrate in this Gatorade juice series? But there are a carbohydrate number, so 36 gram. Okay. And how about this is 36 gram? It should be worked with 591 milliliter. Yes. Yes, Margot. I think Margot used maybe calorie. Yeah. So 36 gram and 1 bottle milliliter. Could you calculate 36 divided by 591? Gatorade, how much has carbohydrate concentration? Oh, yes, Taj. Yes, Gatorade is popular sports drink. They have 6% carb. How about class? Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense? So right now you have Gatorade's sodium amount and potassium amount. This sodium potassium you can recalculate. How about go back? You can recalculate their sodium and potassium. You can find milli equivalent. Milli equivalent. It doesn't make sense. So finally, it's not any more secret. You know which one, which kind of thing is in Gatorade. And another one, this is kind of a secret for the sports drink company. Could you see it here? So nutrition fact, this case, they must show exact number. Doesn't make sense. This is law. It's law. If they didn't put that one, it's illegal. But below nutrition fact, here, this is small part. Yeah. This is small part, is right. So this one, this is small part is kind of their secret. They should still show which kind of thing is in their sports drink, but they do not need to show the exact amount, right? So I enlarge this one to here. See, there are water, sugar, dextrose, like that kind of thing is right. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Oh, they put this kind of thing. Doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make sense, is right? So we know this one, but actually we didn't know because this is kind of their secret. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Yes, we know which kind of like a nutrient or some molecule they put. We know. We don't know exactly how much. Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't. Make sense. So how about, I think is you guys ready to create your own sports drink? Oh, Dr. Wong, how? So this, how about first, we need sodium is right. But sodium cannot be stay only sodium. With the chloride, how about this case, citrate? So sodium, not just only sodium, sodium with chloride or citrate. Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense, right? So this case, you can focus sodium citrate. Does it make sense? And how about potassium? Potassium. Potassium too. Cannot be just potassium. This case, monopotassium phosphate. Oh, monopotassium phosphate. So we need this kind of thing. But this sodium citrate, you can purchase from supplementary company. But this monopotassium phosphate, sometimes you can go to the like farming section, farming section, because this is fertilizer. Fertilizer. I do farm in my home too, so I purchase this one for fertilize our ground. Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But still, it can be fertilizer and food addictive, so we can use. So you can purchase sodium from like Amazon, right? And this kind of company, you can purchase this monopotassium, potassium phosphate from another section too. Right? And we need sugar, is right? Sugar. We can use just white sugar. Right? Or how about I go back to here? Could you see glycerol ester of rosin? Actually, this is important molecule, but they didn't put any number. Our class doesn't make sense because this is the secret, but this is important thing. So how about go back? So that glycine, right? Glycine, you can focus too, right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But we don't know exactly how much at this time. At this time, how about class? Doesn't make sense. So theoretically, if you put the sugar, you are ready to develop to create your own sports drink. And how about class? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Who knows? You can be a millionaire. Yeah. How about Taj? He's a cyclist. He tried his own sports drink and he found, oh my goodness, my sports drink is really, really good. In that case, he can develop his own sports drink, is right. Doesn't make. At least he can develop for himself. Haji cannot be trainee is all his life. He should be coach or trainer, is right. So I think he needed this kind of idea. So class doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. But I want to keep going. I want to keep going. Glycerol is really. How about class? So this case, did you remember? I said yes. Sugar is, yeah. They put the sugar, but actually they put the glycerol too. Glycerol. But this is kind of secret. This is why they didn't put the exact number. So what is glycerin? Right? Doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. What is glycerol? Glycerin is TNT. I'm sorry. Glycerol. 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 So what is glycerol? And another one, why Dr. Go spent almost 2 weeks about the biochemistry for our case 425? You always start biochemistry. If how about like Carlos, Sky, Generic want to develop sports drink, you should start biochemistry. But there are many times. So for example, our class, I used to be Korean. I'm naturalized. I'm American right now. But do you have any idea? In Korea, there are very specific stamina food, stamina plant. Do any student can name in Korea and Asia country very popular some stamina food or stamina plant? Any student heard about? No. Did you hear about ginseng? Ginseng. Ginseng is like a very popular product from Korea. Is a luxury. Oh yes, Sky. I think you heard this, right? Yeah. So any other student heard about ginseng? Ginseng, right? So ginseng is yeah. Thank you, Mao. Ginseng is kind of like root, right? It's root. But you know, many people, even scientists in Korea, they value ginseng because of experience. Experience. Oh, I heard ginseng is good. Ginseng is good. So they try to develop some kind of sports drink to the ginseng. Yeah, doesn't make sense. But that is not really correct. They had better start biochemistry and study a lot For example, how about high intense exercise, creatine phosphate? Did you remember? And they help develop creatine or creatine phosphate supplementation, is like this kind of approach. But many times, oh, I heard ginseng is really good, so I would like to study ginseng, like this kind of approach. Like, doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. But I believe as a scientist, we need rationale first, is right. So, or which kind of like element in the ginseng, like this kind of approach is important, not just ginseng itself. So, how about class, doesn't make sense? So, this is why, did you remember I said glycerol? This is important, is right? And I agree. And how about this case? I think you should learn this glycerol from our exercise physiology, but I believe you already forgot. You already forgot. So I would like to show you. So how about Dr. Gon? You said glycerol is important, but I didn't really remember. Did you really teach glycerol to us? How about like this kind of approach? Does it make sense? If you learn from exercise physics from me, maybe you can remember, right? And another one, next semester I teach KISS 588 optimized exercise training. Or when I teach graduate exercise like exercise physiology, I usually focus a lot. But undergraduate level, I just introduce. This is why you couldn't really remember. So how about class? The intermediate is acetyl coenzyme A. So carbohydrate become pyruvate, and during relatively low exercise intensity, pyruvate become acetyl coenzyme A. How about class? Did you remember? Yeah. And fat molecule enter mitochondria, and through the beta oxidation become acetyl coenzyme A. So this is why we do not really teach fat oxidation, because it shares same pathway. So after acetyl coenzyme A, same TCA cycle, etc. Electrotransposition, etc. Right? Doesn't make sense. Or some kind of protein, amino acid can be intermediate in the during our TCA cycle, right? So this is why acetyl coenzyme is important, and fat, carbohydrate become acetyl coenzyme A and share same pathway. So does it make sense? Does it make sense? And another one, how about fat metabolism, right? So actually fat, how about class, could you see my cursor? So fat molecule is become triacylglycerol, right? And it's become three free fatty acid and one glycerol. Oh, could you see glycerol is here? Oh, glycerol is here, right? Yeah, doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. This is from triacylglycerol, triglyceride is right. And but this triglyceride in the muscle fiber, how about triglyceride in the our fat tissue, and break down what is this? Free fatty acid and glycerol, and this glycerol in the blood, in the blood. How about class, doesn't make sense? In the blood. I have, I think, as well. So how about class is here. See, like a LDL, VLDL, and breakdown is become free fatty acid and glycerol, is right. So whenever you exercise or body need, this free fatty acid go to the tissue, is right. But glycerol, this glycerol stay in the blood, and this glycerol retain water. But this glycerol to be oxidized, it take time. So if you have glycerol in your blood, it retain water for long time. So this is kind of good sports drink. It doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. And sugar, carbohydrate is the same. It retain water. But the problem is carbohydrate oxidize easily enter the tissue, is right? So it release water. So release can be pee easily. Doesn't make sense. So this is why sports drink company recently, not recently, 10 to 20 years, right? They found, wow, glycerol is important. It retain water for longer. How about class, doesn't make sense? So this is why glycerol is important. Like this kind of approach. Class, doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense? So finally, how about like a task? Oh, Dr. Gon, I think I would like to put glycerol instead of sugar. This case, how can you purchase glycerol? Glycerol, you go to the market, any market, the like baking section, because glycerol is needed to make like ice cream, like or that cake. Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So you can find glycerol at the like baking or ice cream making some section. How about class? Doesn't make sense. So you have resource, sauce, potassium, sodium, uh, sugar, as well as glycerol. How about doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense. Could you show me? Do you think is agree? Oh, theoretically, I can make it. Is right? Theoretically, to hydrate. I think at least my parents they can be hydrate. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So, but Gatorade 10 to 20 years ago, they never put the glycerol. They have only sugar. Yeah. See, please watch here. This one. This is Coca-Cola, and this is the Gatorade. 20 years ago, they didn't put any glycerol. They just put the sugar. Purple class doesn't make sense. So I'm not really sure. This is I can't really say this is like a sports drink because sugar is not really good to retain water, but glycerol does. Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So 20 years ago, Gatorade, I cannot really say that is really good sports drink. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I already mentioned I graduate University of New Mexico, and first, how about class? He's John Baker. I want to put our another flip grid activity because we need like we do not meet each other, is right? Nobody know, right? So like Erica never meet another student, is right? So this is why I want to prepare another flip grid activity, and I show the John Baker. He's the runner. He's Olympic level miler. Who he got a diagnosed cancer, and actually he trained for Olympic and he got a diagnosed cancer and doctor said you have only 6 months. This is real story. Real story. You have only 6 months. And he was the physical education teacher at that time, and he was Olympic miler. And he got a diagnosis. He has only 6 months. Can you imagine what that kind of a terrible situation? But because he was a physical education teacher, so he would like to commit suicide. There's many cancer patients like that kind of feeling, but he changed mind. So he spent all his time to his children. Right? That kind of story. Right? So I prepared this movie, our second fully grid activity. Right? So first, he's the alumnus of University of New Mexico. How I know, right? But that is another story. Right? And the person is like measuring blood pressure. His name is Dr. Robox. His name Dr. Robox. He's the person first create sports drink with glycerol. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Gatorade at that time they put only sugar, but he's the person. He was the person put the glycerol. How? He is the expert in biochemistry. Doesn't make sense. And he was my professor. So he taught biochemistry a lot. And he is the first person lactic acid is incorrect. Our class doesn't make sense. Right now you understand it, right? So he created his own sports drink and he taught me. So this is why I'm kind of expert to sports drink. I never made sports drink, but I have a lot of potential to make. So he create Hydrate. This is a sports drink, his brand name, Hydrate. So Hydrate is only ready to drink proactive sports beverage with a special active ingredient of glycerol. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So at that time, it's Gatorade, Powerade. They have like a king, but he developed sports drink. Actually, is really based on science. Class doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And how about class? Do you think because he developed it really sounds good sports drink? Can you guess what happened? Do you think he became millionaire or he bankrupt? Can you guess? If he's billionaire, we should be familiar with this hydrate, but right, sky touch, right? And Taj and Sky, can you guess why he's bankrupt? No, actually, he's not bankrupt. His company is bankrupt. Because there are no way to save. Is it right? Yes, Taj, right. Like Pepsi, Coca-Cola is already governed, the university, and many like institutions, right? So he has no chance to do. So, however, but as a scientist, we should configure it right. Is many times nobody really check their nutrition fact. They just drink and take. Oh, this tastes good. I like. Or the like their design. Oh, I like this design. So I want to buy this sports drink. Our class, do you agree? Do you agree? But you know, we are exercise science student, right? Kinesiology. We cannot. You always check their nutrition fact, is right. So left side is Gatorade, and middle side is Powerade, and the third one is Hydrate. Please see. So first, total sugar is Gatorade and Powerade much more than Hydrate. Doesn't make sense. So it means, oh, that has like a sugar, right? And glycerol, actually, they do not have, only Hydrate. Can you guess why? Because this is patent. Patent. They cannot put. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Because Hydrate is patent. They cannot put. And osmolality mean is this is kind of like the high osmolality, it can retain water. Doesn't make sense. So Hydrate, the glycerol, see, osmolality is almost 1,000, but Gatorade has a sugar, so only 290. Upper class is right. And Powerade, they didn't report. They didn't report. Class doesn't make sense. And another one, Powerade, lots of sugar, it means Powerade is not really supposed to be, it's kind of sugar containing just beverage. And they put sodium and they put potassium and another one. So sodium, if we put more sodium, tastes good. Like a salt in the food is right. However, potassium, if you put lots of potassium usually from banana or cucumber. So sometimes it's bitter. It's bitter. So if you put too much potassium, it tastes not really good. But you know, after exercise, this potassium is released a lot. So if we have more potassium, that is really great sports drink. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So this is why Hydrate put more potassium compared to the other sports drink. But theoretically, scientifically, actually Hydrate is is really good sports drink theoretically. And another one, they have a publication. But however, yeah, but the original Hydrate never took off in a big way, and eventually the company ceased operation. Right? Yeah, doesn't make sense. But doesn't work, right? Because taste is not really good enough to the Gatorade and Powerade. And another one, there are no way to business. However, if Hydrate is created right now, we have Amazon, is right. It's no problem to business, but 10 or 20 years ago, yeah, it was not really easy. Yeah. How about class? Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense. Yeah. How about class? Does it make sense? Could you show me? Right? Is it make sense? Oh, thank you, Sky and other students. And how about right now? Oh, Luis too, right? How about class? Oh, Motoki too. Right now, Hydrate bankrupt. No more. Can you guess? Gatorade. It's time to put the glycerol, is right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Because Hydrate bankrupt. However, they do not want to be sued. This is why they put their glycerol, the secret part, not nutrition fact part. How about class? Do you think it makes sense? It makes sense? Right now, you understand the dark part of business. This is why I so many times I said, don't trust. Yeah, don't trust our industry. Don't trust even our government. Don't trust our textbook. You need some story. Is it some story? Is it right? Oh, thank you, Margot. It's so interesting. Is it right? It's interesting. So actually, when I found Gatorade, they name is G series. So at that time, I just thought to write this. Oh, I think they put the glycerol like this one. So and I just focus and see the nutrition fact. Oh, I couldn't find glycerol, but there are secret part. Oh, they put the glycerol. So okay. So anyway, they need the performance is right. So they still put the sugar, glycerol too is right. Oh yeah, Erica, yeah, but this is the business is right. This is why they succeed, hydrate bankrupt is right. So this is business, right? So I think is hydrate has more like marketing. They need more marketing. Right now they can do, but at that time it was. And another one, Dr. Robo, he was attacked a lot because he said lactic acid is incorrect, lactate. So 20 years ago, he attacked a lot. So finally, he left America and he lived in Australia, is right. So like that is like that. Right now, nobody really think lactic acid is correct. So it's good situation for me. But actually, I was same time too. 10 years ago, I was attacked a lot. So it's very disappointing. But right now it's okay. I believe you guys trust me, right? Yeah, so this is why. So Gatorade, if you see, is a nutrition fact. You cannot really find where is glycerol, and they didn't put the like exact number of glycerol. But you can see it here. Glycerol ester of rosy is right, but they do not need to put any number, so they are free to be sued. It's okay, but actually this supposedly because it has glycerol, it's not too bad. It can be it's good for retaining water. Yeah, class, does it make sense? Doesn't make sense. And how about Powerade? Is right? Powerade. How about Powerade? Dr. Gon, what happened Powerade? Powerade, did you see? A lot of sugar. So right now, Powerade, you can find at the, what is this? Uh, what is this? Oh, Burger King, right? Burger King at the soda section, you can find Powerade, is right? Oh, that is really sports drink. Why should we drink sports drink with our burger at the restaurant? Is right? So it means they already admit our Powerade is kind of soda, right? It's like a sugar contained drink. Yeah. Oh, no mess up. So mess up. Yeah, yes, Margot. Yes. So, but how about Margot? Today I show you how to practice, and you can make your own sports drinks, right? So you can develop. So for example, 1.5 mile run test is you can predict your Glutamix value. So you can try some kind of sport drink. You develop your own self for yourself. So how about today? I try this sport drink. I 1.5 mile. How about if this is short? You can try 5 kilometers. So you can try many sports drink, but you should develop yourself, and you can find what is good for you. That doesn't make sense. Or you can don't drink anything. Maybe fasting is good for you, is right? So like that kind of approach. And this kind of approach, you will learn a lot. I do not need to say study. No, I think you just study yourself. Oh, how about this one? How about this one? I want to find some article. That kind of approach. So class doesn't make sense. But however, for me, yeah. How about sometimes Dr. Gon said, oh, carbohydrate, you will be addicted. So this case, maybe, Dr. Gon, do we have any sports drink for you based on your science? So I would like to use hydrate, hydrate, their like this, their ratio, as well as instead of carbohydrate, I want to put is here. Could you see this one? I want to put ketone. I want to put ketone. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. For me, if I develop my own sports drink, I want to use hydrate ratio as well as I want to put the ketone. Does this make sense? So ketone, it released during fasting. So this is why at fasting you are no problem because of ketone. That doesn't make sense. But this ketone is outside, from the outside to eat ketone is very similar. So to get a ketone, you need the fasting. But you know, we are already addicted to carbohydrate. It's not easy to fast, is right? So that case, ketone is a really good idea. So how about if I want to open my own business, I want to use hydrate ratio and put the ketone, and put the maybe Dr. Gun's like sports drink, right? Or hydration, I think it will be no problem. So like this kind of approach doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Well, anyway, you can put sodium and calcium and magnesium, but to develop your own sports drink, you can think about it. So, for example, like this, my mother, right? My mother has less bone mineral density. So I give exercise program, but at the same time, I want to put the calcium too. This case, you can choose calcium. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Like this kind of approach, but you should study a lot. But it's possible to develop your own sports drink or own supplementation. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So how about class? Right now 8:50, but can I do maybe 10 minutes more and we can take rest? Class, do you think it's okay? Do you think it's okay? I want to finish my special lecture and we'll have a lecture. Thank you, Sky. And you like it, right? Is like it? You see? Yeah, so many times I would like to cover my own content, but this class is really focused CSS exam and NSCA. So this is why. So how about special lecture? And another one, some students from my exercise physiology, they have this experience, but how about many students didn't take my exercise physiology and I prepare here. So how about like this? I talk about sports drinkage, right? But right now I'm talking about after resistance training or high intensity exercise, high exercise intensity, right? After exercise, you need kind of like food is important after exercise, but high exercise intensity. Because after exercise, your insulin level decrease. But after exercise, you have muscular injury, you should increase protein synthesis. But to increase protein synthesis, you must increase your insulin level. To increase insulin level, you need carbohydrate. So after exercise, you need protein and carbohydrate. Doesn't make sense? So many times we said chocolate milk. Did you remember? Within 30 minutes, you need like chocolate milk, carbohydrate, protein. It increased protein synthesis. How about class? Doesn't make sense. So this is why, oh, I think Dr. Gon, chocolate milk is a really good idea. But how about ratio? Doesn't make sense. Not just chocolate milk. Is chocolate milk is a really good ratio? I don't think so. So which kind of ratio? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So this is already studied. This kind of ratio is important to increase protein synthesis. So how about, could you see here, carbohydrate protein ratio, it should be 1.22, 1.4 carbohydrate and 0.3, 0.5 gram protein. This is kind of ratio. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So if your body weight is mass is around 73 kilogram, you need this kind of gram. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh, this case maybe Margot think, oh, I think I can focus like a very good scale. I can measure, right? Like that kind of thing is right. But there are more practical way, and I show you. So this is kind of ratio. Is ratio. So this case, I think generally 2.821 is kind of ratio carbohydrate and protein. It means more carbohydrate than protein is right. 2.821 is right. This is kind of like ratio to increase protein synthesis after high intensity exercise. Oh, I think it's Margot. She focused powerlifting or high intensity exercise. It's a really good sport, really good drink for Margot. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But we need a more practical way. So 2.821. So how about if you want to learn more? This is a nutrition timing book. It's a very small book. It's a really interesting book. So you can focus. It's very cheap. You can buy this book. Yeah. So I use this book is for this special lecture. Yeah. For just only ratio. So Dr. John Ivy at the University of Texas and Austin and AM. So he's kind of person, the expert in this field, and he retired. And finally, he create his own company, like Dr. Robox, right? Hydrate. This is his own company. Okay, yeah. And he developed his own drink, right? But he said, because he's the person who studied, 2.67 to 1 is kind of the best ratio. 2.8 is a little bit lower, right? 2.67 to 1 is best ratio. But chocolate milk and carbohydrate, 3.8 to 1. They are too much carbohydrate. But he said, and based on his research for his whole life, 2.67 to 1 is kind of ratio. So how about class? Does it make sense? So actually, I found this ratio from their product, right? And this is pattern. So we cannot use 2.67 to 1. Doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. You cannot develop sports drink, you can be sued because this is pattern. Doesn't make sense. So how about class, this case, how about our chocolate, chocolate milk, you can easily find in like our Safeway or some like a Ray is right. You can find this chocolate milk. Can you guess the ratio of this chocolate milk? 26 gram to 8. Too much carbohydrate, too much protein, like this kind of approach. Actually, this ratio is 3.3. Oh my goodness. After what is it? After high exercise intensity, if Margot drink chocolate milk, that was ratio is too high. So too much carbohydrate. She need more protein. How about class? Does it make sense? Based on research, yeah, Dr. John Ivy, right? 2.67 is a golden ratio, but that's too high. So how about just white milk? Is white milk. White milk is 1.5. 1.5. It's could you using chat box is too much protein or too much carbohydrate? 1.5. Too much protein, too much carbohydrate. 1.5. Compared to the 2.67. 1.5. Class, could you write? 1.5 mean too much protein or too much carbohydrate compared to the 2.67. Yeah, using checkbox, any student, could you say that? Yeah. So how about chocolate milk is right? Too much carbohydrate is right. So white milk mean is too much protein. It makes sense. But still, we need carbohydrate to increase our insulin level. So it can increase our protein synthesis. So yes, protein we have, but actually we have less carbohydrates, so cannot increase insulin level. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So this case, we have too less carbohydrate. Doesn't make sense. Chocolate milk too much carbohydrate. White milk too much carbohydrate. Too less carbohydrate. Class doesn't make sense. Could you show me so I can go? I can go. Could you show me your response? Do you think it makes sense? Does it make sense? Thank you, Sky, and thank you, Margot. Right. So how about, oh my goodness, Gatorade, even they have a chocolate milk. We never know, is it right? But they have 20 to 8 grams. Can you guess the number? Can you guess 20 to 8? Can you guess Alice is close to the John Ivy 2.67? Yeah, because I do not have a time. Sky, thank you. Sky already calculated. Oh my goodness, 2.5. So how about class? This is important. You already know the Gatorade, their attitude is right. Their attitude. They want to steal. They want to steal. So can you guess how can they have a 2.5? How can have that 2.5 Gatorade? Because they study or they just copy. Why 2.5? Why not 2.67? Can you guess? This is business. Yes. So Sky, see, if they use too close, 2.67, they can be sued and they'll be bankrupt, right? However, I believe they hire high-level lawyer. We want 2.67, but it can be sued. Which number we cannot be sued? 2.66, 2.67, 2.63, like this. 2.51, still you can be sued. How about 2.5? I think it's no problem. This is why they choose 2.5. Class, do you agree with me? Does it make sense? Oh no, how about Sky? This is business, right? They do not want to bankrupt, right? But doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So it's mean if I want to learn, I want on the money, right? I want to use maybe 2.5. Oh no, I think they do not have any patents. So maybe well anyway, like very close number, but I should be careful, not too close. So class doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. No, this is kind of I just think about it. Like, maybe they can do that, right? If I'm the like owner, I would like to do it. Yeah. Can patent it? Yes, yes, yes. But thank you. How about, do you know this milk is expensive milk, right? So this milk, 1.93. So still less carbohydrate. It's expensive, but it's not really good after high intense exercise. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't. It's expensive, but it's not really good ratio. And how about muscle milk? You know it, right? Oh, I think it's our Louis and Margot, they lived a lot. So I think around them, some people drink is muscle milk. Do you agree, Louis and Margot, right? So at the gym, some people they drink, like a bodybuilder, they drink, right? So they drink is muscle milk, right? And can you guess their ratio? Did you remember 2.67 is good ratio, is right? But can you guess this ratio, muscle milk? Yeah, this is only 0.48. So it means too much protein or too much carbohydrate. Muscle milk, muscle milk, muscle milk, 0.48 is right. Yes, too much protein. Sky, without exercise, without fasting, if you just drink this muscle milk, sometimes people can throw up. Throw up, right? Yeah, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, but bodybuilder, they just keep eating is right. I was too. I just keep eating. So they can drink. They can drink. Sometimes they can put the like a mixer to the white egg and they can drink is right. So they can drink. But many just general population, they try to drink oh right like this. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So how about like a no, soy milk, right? Soy milk. Many people try soy milk. Right? Oh, how about soy milk? Is good ratio? Oh, only 1.3. So need more sugar. Does it make sense? Yeah. If someone is vegetarian, they can drink soy milk, but they have put up more sugar. Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense. We are almost done. We are almost done. And how about class as a kinesiology exercise science student? Right? You always make graph. Yeah, doesn't make sense. So this is why. This is a John Ivy's sports drink, and this is chocolate milk. Oh, oops. This is just white milk, and this is the Gatorade, and I think it's my computer is a little bit problem. How about other one is too less carbohydrate. Chocolate milk is too much chocolate milk, too much carbohydrate. Yeah. So using graph, you can figure out this, right? So based on this one, Gatorade G is very close to John Ivy's the John Ivy's drink, right? It's what is beverage, right? But it's a little bit lower, so they are free from the soup. This is my understanding. My understanding. However, we are kinesiology major. We need some kind of way. How about class? Could you understand why Dr. Go put the chocolate milk and white milk? Can you guess why Dr. Go put the chocolate milk and white milk? Yeah, all right, Sky, yes. See, oh my goodness, how Dr. Gon is smart. Mixed together, the ratio is 2.4, right? However, Dr. Gon, I want 2.67. That case, you can put the 65% of, just put the one like a glass. You can measure the using the ruler, 65% chocolate milk, 35% white milk. Oh my goodness, you got what is this? 2.61. 2.61. Right? So Margot, Luis, before you leave, you can put the 65% chocolate milk, 30% white milk, and that one is 2.67. after high exercise intensity, within 30 minutes, drink that one. There's perfect ratio to increase protein synthesis. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't. We do not need to focus John Ivy's one. We do not need to focus Gatorade one. Just easily find that box that you can put. How about class? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So here, oh my goodness, see, this is John Ivy's one, but Dr. one is mixed up, right? That drink exactly John Ivy's 2.67. Wow, see, this is why I kept saying we need to educate it. No problem. And even you can use hydrate, there's for hydrate that ratio, you can develop your own sports drink for you and for your family or your athletes, anybody. But you need exercise first, is right. You need the exercise, high exercise intensity, right? And another one, the problem is, this is last slide. The problem is, right?
I am completely miserable, San Diego. It's so damn hot. Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah, but the problem is we are already adult. So sometimes we couldn't really digest is milk. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But how about high intensity resistance training exercise? It's maybe help to digest our milk, but still we have a problem. Some people couldn't really digest milk. So that is kind of problem. So you should think about how to challenge this kind of problem, how to solve this problem. Chris, I think it's a really good special lecture, is right? I think it's a practical way to apply, not just learn, and you can apply this concept, you can develop your own. I believe Taji and Sky and Margot and everybody has some idea to develop. Especially Luis Margot is more like a power person. They develop chocolate milk, or I think Taji is endurance athlete, so he think about hydrated the ratios, right? He can develop. And how about class? We have a lab activity too. So right now, 9:06. Could you meet 9:16, 9:16, 10 minutes later? Thank you. Thank you. See you soon. 9:16, 9:16. Thank you, Motoki. See you soon. Thank you, Sky. Yeah. So could you type your name? This is for lab activity. You already type your name for that is a lecture, but I want you to type this for our lab activity. And student who watch this video is later, you should know, right? If you want to absent, if you need to absent, you should let me know in advance, right? Doesn't make sense. This is a synchronous class. That case, no problem, but yeah, so this is synchronous. You should come, you should come. So our class, I think, is do you have any question? But this is kind of a special lecture, so it's it's not like our exam part. But I believe that is important, and you should understand our industry, like our industry too. And as a kinesiology major, to not just be like a consumer, you should be provided, right? At least have our sports drink and have our like food after exercise. You know, we are kinesiology based. We should do our selfish, right? Like a cook for us, right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And today lab activity I developed is related to our lecture. So healthy body mass. And another one, how about healthy body mass, healthy body weight is really important for our for performance for event, like that kind of approach too. So we can freely discuss together, and I would like solve our problem with you guys. Yeah. So how about class? Please type your name. And I want to share the screen. So how about class? Could you see my screen? Could you see my screen? Quiz 10, I'm sorry, lab activity 9, I just opened. Thank you, Carlos. And how about quiz 10 is next week, okay? Next week, right? Next week. We couldn't finish chapter 10 yet. So no more quiz this week. Not quiz 10, but you have a lab activity, but you solve problem with me. So how about class, please prepare calculator as well as note. So after taking quiz, you can finish this our lab activity. So yeah, prepare calculator or your phone, right? And what is this? Note, right? Note. And I kept saying, CS exam, you cannot take a calculator. So sometimes you should do calculate is manually, but they give just simple number. So class doesn't make sense. So I'll open lab activity 9, sample calculation of a healthy body mass. That is important, is important. So I just click and I miss preview. So how about you must calculate with me, you must solve this problem with me. Just I want to open chat box. So in case if you type the question or comment, I want to read. I think I have everything. Yeah. So how about class here? Okay, client, 21 years old woman, and current body composition, body mass is 131 pound, this woman, and percent body fat 26%. So this case, how about class? Using skin fold, you can calculate her body percent body fat is right using skin fold. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Skin fold usually around $100. $100. But I strongly recommend you can buy this one. Especially this is a lens skin fold. Lens skin fold. I believe is around $100. So this is good enough. This is good enough. Yeah. So using skin fold, just imagine how about like how about Erica, right? Erica, how about this soccer player? Erica made a skin fold and she found her percent body fat is 26%. Doesn't make sense. And this is normative data from ASSN. ASSN. Normative like chart is ASSN. So and question is what is her percentile rank of body composition? This case percent body fat because we have a percent body fat. So could you answer in our checkbox? It's female subject, female athlete, and percent body fat is 26%. So her percentile rank is 26% is not too bad, is right. How about is normative data? We cannot say subjectively. I think it's good, it's bad. No, we cannot say percentile rank. So any student, could you see it's right? You can see my slide. Oh, I'm sorry, Margot. Yeah, 21 years old. Oh, yeah. So this case, you can take a note like 21 and 131 is like this. Yeah. Please take a note 21 years old, 131 pound, 26%. So you can calculate it. So Erica said 20, 20. Oh, how about here? 26%, but is 50.4 is 30s, right? Oh, it's too small. I'm sorry, Erica. Right? So how about I help you? 50.4% is 30, 30. Right? So 30. How about Margot at this time is around 30% range. So class, do you agree? Do you agree? I'm sorry, Erica, is too small. So it's look like around 30% range. Yes. Okay. So 30% range. Why this is important? So some people is very sensitive, very sensitive. So how about 30%? Oh, you are obese. No, we cannot say that. We cannot. Okay, right? You have too much fat. No, you cannot say that. So you had better say like a percentile rank. You are kind of 30% rank. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And I think is Margot is already answered. How about category? Right. So below average, average, like that one. So category, right? So could you see? Could you type? Yeah, you must type and I can go right. So 30% rank. How about category? Below average, right? So below average, right? Below average, right? So this is much better. You're overweight, or you are like obese. You're too much fat. No. How about you're around 30% rank? It's kind of below average. Right? This is much better, right? It's like a professional. But if you say like another terminology, your client is upset or angry. So, so next one, see, is below average is right. So we must improve her body composition is right. So for example, like this, if Sky, Margot, Taji, right, and Erica said you are below average, you are below average 30% rank, and you should give some solving, right? Is right. You should give solving, right? You need to solve the problem. So, for example, you are below average. You had better join like a running club. That is not like answer. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You need a very specific number. Doesn't make sense. This is our job. So to do right. So how about class? So go back to the our chart to the chart. So which percent is good for her at this time? It's very practical, but still good. So here, right now, 26% is right, but we cannot make her 14% is right. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But still, she is like, how about if she's a soccer player? It should be better than average, right? So do you think it's really good idea? 20%. So our goal for her, 20% body fat. Do you think is okay? Not too high, but still above average is right. So do you agree? Can I set up? I think you should be 20% body fat. That is around 60% per rank. Class, do you think is okay? Is okay. I cannot go like 50%, is right. So right now 26%. But how about our goal is to make 20% of your body fat? Do you think is okay? Is okay. So I how about Erica and this trainee is agree? How about 20%? Right now 26%, but I want to be 20%. And Erica think 20% is good, is above average, 60% per rank. So doesn't make sense. So right now our goal is 20%. Could you note 20%? 26% is right now, but 20% is our goal. Her body mass is 131 pounds. Right? Doesn't make sense. So to calculate her target body mass, you need to calculate her free fat mass. Free fat mass, lean body mass. Doesn't make sense. So could you calculate her present free fat mass in pound and one decimal number? Could you calculate? Oh, Oh, Carlos, you are so fast. You are so fast. Any other student? Any other student? Do you agree? Oh, Sky too, right? Oh, and how about class? Erica, I think is Luis. You took my kids 456B. Maybe I present this one too at that time. If you took, I remember you took my 456B. But you know, 456B class next year, not anymore. So it's up here. So our other student, no chance to take this kind of lab activity. So I prepare. So Luis, Erica, if this is a little bit overlap for your 456B, but could you understand, right? Because other students, they have never chance to take 456B. 456B is away, right? So doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. So yes, so Sky, Carlos, and Margot agree. So 96.9. Yeah, class, do you agree? I put the 96.9. Yeah. And question 4. So her free mass is right. Fat free mass is 96.9 pounds, is right. And you can calculate her target body mass. How? Because this is free fat mass is 96.9, actually based on 26% body fat, is right. But if you divide by 96.9 divided by 20% body fat, actually 80% fat-free mass, you can calculate her target body mass. Doesn't make sense. 96.9 divided by our target lean body mass percent. So that is 80% is right. 20% body fat. So 80% is fat-free body mass. Doesn't make sense. So 96.9 divided by 0.8. That is target body mass. Doesn't make sense. And could you calculate? Percent fat-free mass, our goal. That is 80% is right. Oh, Carlos, that is too low. Oh, divided by, not multiply. So 96.9 divided by 0.8. 0.8, why? This is percent fat-free mass. It doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah. How about class? Do you agree? Yeah. XA, yes, 120.1. So for target body mass, if you have 20% body fat, it should be 121.1. So how about class? Does it make sense? But you know, but you cannot say to your client, you should become 121.1, is right? So this case, target body mass, a 0 decimal number. So you should put 121. So when you talk to your client, 121, not decimal number. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. See how Dr. One is practical, is right? How Dr. One is practical. You need 121 pounds. Doesn't make sense. Theoretically, if you maintain your fat-free mass, when your body mass 121, at that time your percent body fat is 20%. That is our goal. How about class? Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense? Do you think it makes sense? This is important when you make exercise program. That is kind of like a first step. You should calculate healthy body mass. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. This is the first step. But I believe not too many people don't know, right? Yeah, no, right? Not too many know. So that is kind of our problem. But as a kinesiology major, as a professional, you should approach like this. So class doesn't make sense. Yeah. So how about here? Her target body weight is 121 and her body mass right now 131. So calculate her weight or mass loss by subtract target body weight from present body mass. How much pound? Yes, Sky and Margot Motoki. Yeah, I think you guys agree is right. Is right. Carlos, right? She should reduce 10 pounds, right? Doesn't make sense. Actually from fat is right. 10 pounds. Okay. So assuming that fat-free mass is maintained. So you must include resistance training so she can maintain fat-free mass. But client must lose 10 pounds. So of fat, only fat, to achieve her target body weight and body fat level. Because 3,500 calories equal to 1 pound of fat. So it's estimated you need to burn, how about class? Burn about 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound. So how about how much kilocalorie she need? At this time, I said burn, but how about how much kilocalorie she should burn? It can be 10 pounds. Could you answer that one first, the number? 1 pound, 3,500 kilocalorie. But how about 10 pounds? Oh, that is simple, is it right? So how much? Yeah, yes, 35,000. Yes, that is answer. But another one, did you remember Dr. Gon said you need to burn about 3,500 calories. But do you know, burn, that is explosion. But our body is not machine, is it right? We cannot burn. So burn is not really correct. Could you change any other terminology to burn is not really good terminology. If you burn your fat, you should burn your protein. It means you burn yourself, right? So we cannot burn. So any terminology is better here. Oh, actually, even I do not have any answer. Which kind of like terminology is better? But how about class? How about metabolize? Maybe that is better terminology. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Class, do you agree? Or do you have any terminology instead of burn? Because that is kind of like incorrect. We cannot really burn. So we had better say metabolize. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That is great. Sometimes people talk about lactic acid, but actually that is lactate. That case, lactate is better terminology, right? So here, burn fat, but we cannot burn fat, right? So metabolize is right because fat becomes CO2 and water. It means that is respiration is right. So we had better say metabolize. That is much better terminology. Doesn't make sense. But many people, they easily understand burn, so we can use still burn. But as a kinesiology major, you had better say to them, actually, burn is not really correct terminology, but everybody use. So this is why you use burn. Actually, we had better say metabolize because fat become CO2 and water. Is right? Is right? It's respiration, not explosion. Right? Right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So question 7. How much kilocalorie per week should be burned to lose body mass? How about class? Did you remember? Did you remember? To maintain health, 1,000 kilocalorie per week. To reduce depression, 1,500 kilocalorie per week, generally. How about class? Did you remember? Dr. Gon frequently say to lose weight, you need at least how much kilocalorie per week? Yes, Luis, thank you. See, like that one. And how about if Luis said, Luis, no, Dr. Gon, I use a lot. But what is the reference? What is the reference? This is our job, is right? So reference is ASSN, right? So it's here. So at least 2,000 kilocalorie per week. That is ASSN recommendation for weight loss. But that is minimum. 2,000 kilocalorie per week is minimum, right? Class, do you agree? Do you agree? So more is better, but 2,000 kilocalorie per week is minimum. So somebody exercise only 1,500 kilocalorie per week, so theoretically cannot lose any body mass, so they'll be very upset. I exercise, why I couldn't lose weight? I think it's exercise useless. No, actually the amount is not really high. So how about class? Doesn't make sense. Do you agree, Luis? 2,000 kilocalorie per week. Do you agree? Do you agree? So I just check around 2,000 kilocalorie per week. If you think, you ask to me what is the reference, it's ASSN, and actually Institute of Medicine too, right? So actually it's ASSN. So if she increase calorie expenditure by 2,000 kilocalorie per week through exercise, So it means she doesn't need change any diet, only increase exercise 2,000 kilocalorie per week. How many weeks does she need to reach the total calorie deficit of 35,000 kilocalories? Yeah. So how many weeks? How many weeks? Every week, 2,000 kilocalories per week. But she need metabolize 35,000. Oh, I think it's the answer. Marco said 70.5, 70.5. Yeah, is it right? 70.5. So it's around like 4 months, 4 to 5 months. Is it right? So you can say theoretically 2,000 kilocalories per week. If we keep exercise, 4 to 5 months later, you will be 121 pounds, and your percent body fat theoretically 20%. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Wow. So as a kinesiology major, professional, you should give this kind of number. Number doesn't make sense. This is important. You cannot just say, how about exercise? Eat less. No, you cannot be paid. You should say like this. So I want to put 17.5. But how about class? You know, Dr. Gon is a very practical person. Just in case, if you do not have any skin fold, or some people is overweight and obese, its skin fold doesn't work, right? No, it's useless, but you cannot use. So to tell the truth, there are no equipment to measure overweight, obese people's percent body fat is very correctly. It's very, very awkward, is right? Because overweight people to lose weight, they should know percent body fat, but there are no really good equipment to measure correctly. Skin fold, because skin is too thick, underwater tank, they cannot submerge, and body part is too small, and DEXA machine too small too. So how terrible situation is, right? So overweight, obese people, to solve this problem, Dr. Gon has an idea. You can use this BMI. Oh my goodness, Dr. Gon is so smart. So Papa class, this is BMI chart. You can use this one except for athlete. Every population you can use except for athlete. So it's here. So client 45 years old male at this time, or man, 190 pounds or 86.4 kilogram and 5'5" and 165.1 centimeter. As a online trainer, just imagine you cannot touch your client because you're an online trainer. Just imagine. How about your client live in Alaska? You live in here. You cannot measure his body fat using a skin fold method. How can you estimate? Oh, I'm sorry. His health body mass. Oh, see, what is his classification of the body mass in BMI? So how about first? So using his body mass as well as his height, could you just classify his BMI like a obesity, underweight, and overweight? How about at this time that one? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Louis obesity. So how about, I think how can say Louis obese because he's 5'5" is right. 5'5", this column, this row. So I just go and his body mass is 190. Oh, he's around 31 is right. So BMI is 31. Oh, obese. So I think I agree, and Luis and Carlos. So I just click obesity. Obese, I'm sorry, obese. And how about here? How much can be his maximum healthy body weight based on BMI chart? Maximum health body weight. So it's here. So his 5.5 is right. It's 5.5. So this law. So what is his maximum healthy body mass? Could you get it? Even you do not need to calculate. You can use this one. You know his height, healthy body mass, not overweight, not underweight. Oh, I think underweight, healthy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. So 5.5. And how about Erica, Sky, Carlos, and others? Do you agree how they found healthy body mass? Is it right? Because this green is the healthy body. But I said maximum healthy body mass. So it should be this one, is right. So 55, 24. Just go up. Oh, 145. See how easy to find. So 145. So does it make sense? So 145. So it's right now you know how to calculate. No, you know how to calculate 145. So right now 190. So around 45. He should reduce 45 pounds, is right? But 1 pound is 3,500 kilocalories. So you can calculate and every week he need 2,000 kilocalories. So you can calculate how many weeks he need, is right? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So, but how about we already know? So I do not want to calculate. We already know, is right? So without caliper, but usually overweight or obesity or general population, BMI is perfect. Did you remember how many times I said our human performance lab, we have under the tank, body part is expensive and expensive. But to tell the truth, using BMI, we can cover all of the population except for bodybuilder or really good athlete, elite athlete. We can use this one. It's everybody. Yeah, sometimes we spend too much time, right? Too much money to do it. But how about class? I'm almost done. So my question is, this is healthy body mass. I didn't say is optimal body mass for event. This is strength and conditioning courses, right? So usually we talk about athlete or firefighter, police officer, right? Or very good recreation athlete. So sometimes they focus event. So it means this healthy body is good for power, or this healthy body is good for strength, or this healthy body is good for marathon. We cannot say that, is right? Optimal body mass is different than healthy body. Optimal body mass for events is different than healthy body mass. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Yeah. So this is a really good approach. But optimal body mass for athlete and event is different because could you see? Oh my goodness, their body type, right? It's depend event, right? Sometimes they should be big. How about sumo player? They should be heavier than 300 pounds, right? But how about gymnastic or boxer, right? A bodybuilder, right? Or like a 100 dasher, 200 dasher? It's different, right? Optimal body mass is different. How about class? Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense? So I'm just talk about body mass, but body type is different. Is based on their event. How about class? Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense. So right now I'm 157 pounds. You know, my strength is really, really high. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I think it's perfect body mass for strength and power for me at this time. But however, when I run 5 kilometers to to increase my performance 5 kilometers, 157 is too heavy for me. For me, it's not good body mass for me. 5 kilometer running. So this is kind of like the graph. When I was run 5 kilometers, I want to increase my 5 meter performance. So I want to break my 5 kilometer PR less than 20 minutes. That was my goal at that time. So how about class? Could you see the x-axis is my body mass, y-axis is minute, like 27 minutes, 20 minutes. So at that time, my body mass is around 135 to 142, right? So see, could you see it has a relationship? Lighter weight is a better performance, is right? So when I was around 135, at that time is my 5 kilometer time is around 23 minutes, right? So I couldn't prepare my graph there, but I tried reduce my body mass 129. Finally, I become around 20 minutes. So it's here. So 129, but this is graph. I couldn't prepare more data here. Actually, when I become around 130 pounds, I very close 20 minutes, my record. So it means optimal mass for the event is different than healthy body mass. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That case, I should become 130 pounds. It's not good for my health, but I can like become 20 minutes my record. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't. However, I want to increase my strength. I need 157 pounds. Like, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Like that kind of approach. It's a little bit different, but I think it's enough to open your eyes. Optimal body mass for event and healthy body mass is different. But right now, you know how to calculate healthy body mass to set up the like how many weeks. That case, you can set up your athlete's optimal body mass and you can calculate to like week or like a per section to exercise program for them, right? But that case, you can learn more. But at this time, it's enough. So I think it makes sense, right? So how about class? But the last question is not question. I just put the here, think about it, right? So I think we put everything. And how about submit quiz? We got, oh, 100%. Oh my goodness. We got, yeah, we did it. We did it. So how about class? I think, oh, thank you, Margot. See, I think you agree, is right? Yes, yes. So how about Margot? There are somatotyping. Somatotyping. I'm not really sure we have enough time. I cover that one, somatotyping. That is to figure out the athlete body type. So there are another one. So I'm not really sure I have time. I can cover this one is a KISS 588 next year. Next year, my optimized exercise training. But if I have time and I cover it as well, or I can put some useful link so you can read about the body type. So how about class? Doesn't make sense? Doesn't make sense. So I think it's almost time. Any question? Please leave here or please stay here. Stay here. No question. See you Monday. Monday. No quiz, but we have lab activity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hi, Dr. Kwan.
Oh, hi, Margot.
Hi. So is that information about the kilocalories to burn, to lose and maintain, is that in our textbook, the ACSM recommendation for that?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But that is this textbook has the
Oh,
information like that. But
It's
how
in
about Margot? If I found the reference, I can put.
Okay, if you find, I have that textbook, if you find which.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's ASSM has there a lot of standard. I'm not really sure, but this textbook said this ASSM is the reference, but I didn't really found it.
Okay,
But I try to find and I let you know. And
Okay,
maybe
great.
I can post. Thank you, Margot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Luis, I think you have a question.